So, most of you know that the other day I opened up a seed that spawned me right in front of a jungle. So naturally I was like, drop everything, we're moving over here. But not only was there this beautiful jungle with this beautiful river snaking through it, but we also had a village right behind us. And with a ton of food lying around just ready to be harvested, we're going to be off to a really great start. Normally, I would build on a grassland because it's the easiest biome to build on and also the easiest to farm on, in my opinion, but I figured I'd change it up this time, especially since there was one detail about this seed that I really liked and wanted to work around. Right off the bat, I noticed that the river kind of stopped at the village and led into the jungle. So I was thinking I would live next to the river, and then eventually I would dig out a canal to connect all of the water to make it one big river so that I could travel downriver to the village at any given moment. I thought it would add an element of realism to the game because if you lived in a jungle, you would naturally travel through the river. But before we start building, there is one thing we have to do. We have to save these villagers from their own stupidity. This village is small enough as it is, so if we don't do something about these villagers, they are eventually going to be killed by zombies, and I don't want to do that because I want to come back here. And I plan on having a good relationship with this town, building it out a little bit, or a lot, because it's small. It's actually like, it's 2 houses, and then there is another house on top of the hill over there, but it's underwater. Like, no one can actually get in there. There is a bell here somewhere, and I believe that if I ring it, they go inside their houses. Let's see if they listen. Oh, this guy seems to be running in. Okay, good. No one else? Yep. Okay, no, what? You were so close, buddy. Why? Oh, no. Oh, gosh. Okay, hang on. I wasn't quick enough. Okay, no! Is this block being here a problem? Oh, stay in there. Just stay in the house. No? Go in there. Oh my gosh. The bell's too far away from most of them. They don't hear. They're in here. Okay. No. I have to be quicker. Oh, yep. Actually, there are a couple of guys in there. There's at least one. It's hard to tell how many are in there. Alright. It pains me to do this, but I need to turn my shaders off. Clearly, the game is lagging too much for me to properly play it. It was running well for a while, but now I think my computer caught on and it's like, hey, I can't do that. I know, I'll just trap them in here. Don't move. Don't move. Stay there. Okay, good. Don't worry. It's not permanent. That's enough to keep the village going. I would ideally like to save all of them, though. Okay? We got another one? I think I got them all. I don't see anybody wandering around. So, there was a total of, 4 or 5 villagers living here, and I've managed to put them all inside. So now I can start heading to the place where I'm going to build my house. And in the meantime, while I build my house, I'm going to be thinking of a name for this town, because I feel like giving it a name helps with the immersion. So it's a town in the tundra biome, kind of. There's no snow, but there's a lot of spruce trees, and stylistically, it's a tundra town. So what should we name it? I'm thinking of giving it a name that says where it is, what the culture is, and what it's about. So I'm thinking something like Shady Pine or Spruceville, something along those lines. I'm probably going to put some options up on the screen and let you choose which one you want, and that will be the name of the town when I return. But right now, I'm going to build my house. So I didn't just want to make another treehouse like everybody does in the jungle, although those are pretty cool, but I was actually inspired by some of these pictures of jungle houses over the water. I wanted my house to be partially over the water, and I also wanted a spot underneath of it to have crops. This is just my initial idea, I may end up changing it or not keeping a couple of things. But for now, this is a good starter house, and I can expand upon it later. My house is done. I believe the only part you didn't get to see was the top floor, but really there's nothing here yet. So we will fill it up with stuff later. And I'm gonna put barrels all around here. Like I started putting some over here and keeping my stuff in it. Also, I started planting some of the crops that I collected. So they've been growing this whole time while I was building my house. And I don't think I'm going to keep the stairs because it doesn't really give me a jungle kind of feel. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have some kind of column with vines so I can climb the vines up into the house because that would make it feel much more jungly. And also, underneath the house right here, I plan on maybe having a wheat farm or a combination of crops just to kind of give it a more organized feel than what I have going on here, which is quite random at the moment. In case you're wondering where I got some of this stuff from, it's because I found a broken nether portal in the grassland. I didn't put steps here because I wanted it to have this really raw kind of look, and I thought it would contrast nicely with the planks that I put down. If I just had jungle steps going up with jungle plank walls and a jungle floor, it's just too much of the same color. But I also didn't want cobblestone, and I didn't want to introduce a new type of wood, so I left it as just jungle logs. So, this is the next day. I just woke up. And I was looking through last night's footage, and I realized that OBS got stuck the second half of the video, and basically it was just a freeze frame of my face for that whole second half of the video. So the second half of the recording, it got messed up. So I'm gonna log into Minecraft right now and show you what I did. So the first thing I did last night was I wanted to give these walls more texture. Basically, I wanted to make it look like someone got stranded in the jungle and made a house out of whatever parts they could get their hands on. So I decided to also incorporate a little bit of oak wood, making it look like there were patches in the walls that I had to fill in with whatever was available to me at the time. Hopefully that gives it a little bit more texture and gives it a little bit more of a wild look. I may spread that to the floor later, maybe even the upper floor. The second thing you notice is that I have vines on my house now, which I did start mining a little bit just to get enough iron to make myself shears and a bucket. With the shears, I grabbed vines and I put them on my house. I also got rid of the stairs and I made myself this little pillar where I can just climb up to my front door, which I think really fits the theme a lot better, and the vines make the house look like it's part of the jungle. Realistically, if you live in the jungle, you don't want things on the ground to be able to get to your door, so if I really was in a jungle, I wouldn't want steps going up to my door anyway. It just doesn't make sense. I also planted wheat here. I wanted to make all of this look intentional, but at the same time scrappy. And that's why I left the natural terrain here. I didn't try to flatten it out. I also mixed in my potatoes with the wheat. I thought it would give it that more of a, oops, this just kind of happened to happen like this kind of look. accidental, but also intentional. I left the sugarcane growing over here along the sides of the river, but I did move all of the other crops. I think the sugarcane looks good where it is, though. I dug out some of the dirt here to make it easy for me to go up and down this hill. I intend to make it look more natural along these edges. These edges are too sharp. And I think I'm going to add cobblestone and mossy cobblestone at some point, because the point is to make it look like there once was a path here, but it got worn away over time. Then when I go up here, this is where I planted my pumpkins and melons. I'm not entirely sure I like this setup. It is meant to look like everything's growing in patches, so I'm gonna see what it ends up looking like, and if I don't like it, I'll just change it up a little bit. I know it's not the most efficient way to grow these things, but once again, I want to make it look like it just kind of happened that way. Back here is where I decided to plant my berry bushes, because if you've ever been in a forest, you'll notice that little things like little bushes and berries and stuff tend to grow on the edges of a forest. Now, I don't know if the same thing applies to jungles, but I figured this would be a pretty natural place for berries to grow, on the edge of a jungle. I am going to expand this out to make it look, this looks a little bit too intentionally placed, so I'm going to expand it out, make it look a little bit more wild. I just need to be careful with these because I don't want to be running into them every time I want to run into the jungle. Overall, I think it's an improvement to what you saw before, and I'm pretty excited to see where it goes from here. Next, I'm going to figure out how I can start animal farms and incorporate them into the surrounding landscape. And I'm also going to start my project on building out the canal so I can connect to the village, which I have a feeling is going to be pretty labor intensive, but we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be really worth it at the end. And also because this is a great seed, I'm going to be sharing the seed with you either in the description or the comments. I haven't decided yet, but everybody likes a good jungle spawn seed, so I figured I'd share it. The only thing I ask is if you do end up playing on it, don't spoil anything for me if you happen to explore an area I haven't explored yet. But I am interested in seeing how you develop the world differently from me. And if you do play on this seed, I have a way for you to share your pictures and videos with me. Just let me know if you started playing on it and I can set that up. And I could even feature it in these episodes. I think that's it for what I wanted to show you. So I look forward to the next episode and see you next time.